Alright, gonna put down an island. I finally have 5 mana. Not that it matters. Yeah, I'm gonna spend 5 mana in order to cast the Cult of Epiphany for where X is 4. So, 1. Wait, I gotta read a cult. Yeah. 1.
Draw 4, discard 4.
3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And because I discarded for each card type, I believe I discarded 3 card types. I discarded Melody.
With flying for each. Oh, okay. So first it counts creatures with flying,
only
and then
2
the number
card
of each
types,
type.
so I only get 2 tokens.
I see.
Room. There. But yeah, with that, I will end.
Okay, my turn. What the fuck is this guy, and why should I care? Yeah, I guess that's the idea right there, right now. I'm gonna see if I can just wipe you out during this turn, actually. It doesn't look like I can. I can bring you to the point of death, though, because I got a Vampiric Dragon that can ping your spirits. And that's what I'm gonna do. Pay 2. Vampiric Dragon deals 1 damage to target creature.
Okay, it's a 1/1 counter.
Oh, yeah, right? Huh, I guess that's the interaction for a card that is basically worthless. This is a 25-cent card. I never really saw interest in getting the Vampiric Dragon for my own collection.
I mean, honestly, the Vampiric Dragon's big drawback is that it costs 8. If you can cheat it out without it costing 8, it's actually a really good card because it can archer everything. So it's now an 8/8 thanks to all the tokens.
Yep. And let's see what else. Okay, and then I'm going to go into my attacker step. Strefan is attacking once again. Sacrifice 2 blood tokens. Put a vampire card on the battlefield that is tapped and attacking against indestructible, and then turn to blood tracker.
Okay.
Now I just gotta do my math just to be sure. Do I have the option to actually kill you this turn with the amount of damage I can potentially get on the board?
You can put an additional 2 1/1 counters on him. So
yes. So, but would that be enough? 4, 12, 19. Holy shit, that would actually be a perfect game, so I'm going to do that. Pay 4 life. 1, 2, 3, 4. He gets 2 +1/+1 counters. So now he's a 4/4 creature with indestructible that's tapped and attacking. So I count 4, 12, 19, 23 damage coming at you.
Let's see. 4, 4, 12. Yep, alright. So, that is game.
Damn. God damn.
Alright, so I will successfully concede. It's this button. There we go. Now, can we talk about these decks real quick? Because, like...
Of course. That's what we're here to do, is explore.
Alright. The Blue-White Spirits deck, for my money, is honestly probably a really good introduction to the Commander format as a whole. Because it shows off exactly why the fuck this is a bad deck. And let me be clear, I did play game 2 pretty poorly, and I kept a 2 land hand that I probably shouldn't have. But like you saw my first mulligan, which was also 2 lands, and that's kind of one of the big problems. The Commander being a 100 card format kind of forces you to learn why exactly it is that for a majority of standard we actually run 20 plus cards for lands. Because you need that many cards, and you need that many opening cards, that many lands in your opening hand in order to actually play the game. Commander showcases this very well with having a Commander as a format. Showcases this very well with a lot of the bigger cards, specifically in multiplayer, being really powerful, like the Vampiric Dragon and the Patron of the Vein. I have very few cards like that actually interact with my opponent. Like, the biggest casting card that I have, I believe, is Sire of the Storm, at least the biggest creature, and he's a 3/3 for 6.
Right.
Like, the thing that this deck wants to do very explicitly is get out its Lord cards and swarm the field with Spirit tokens, and it does that 1 out of every like fucking 5 games, because there's only 2 Lord cards in here. It's the Supreme Phantom and the Droskal Captain. Like nothing else in the deck actually gives the Spirit's additional power and toughness, which they desperately need as they are otherwise 1/1. You saw all the stuff that I was playing in Game 3. I had the Field of Souls and the Reconnaissance mission, so I have infinite resources if I have anything on the board. But I can't play anything on the board because all my things are way too goddamn small. Like, Hanged Executioner is arguably one of the best cards in the entire deck, and it's still a 1/1.
Right. Well, well, power and toughness doesn't enter into it for a card that you sacrifice for its ability. Right.
And even then, I'm not going to sacrifice Hanged Executioner for its ability until you've got a big enough creature out. And then I got to spend 4 on it. So, this deck is not terrible. It's a very good teaching tool, but there was no way in hell I was actually going to beat a consistent vampire deck, and I knew that coming in. There are a lot of really cool things in here. Enough things that you could actually build, modern decks around. Neither of us got out our goddamn Planeswalkers, because I've got Dovin, and Dovin is an artifact Planeswalker.
Well, I mean, speak for yourself. I have 0 Planeswalkers in this deck.
That's kind of weird that you don't have at least one of the Sorens. I mean, we're on Innistrad again, and he's still out and about. So maybe he's still fighting the Hiri. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, thanks to my collection, I saw a lot of the the omissions that they could have added for the deck. I mean, as I recall, before we started recording, I had the hardest time recalling Captivating Vampire, who was it was not even standard legal.
Well, he's not been standard legal in a whole decade. He's from Magic 2011, so.
Also, the Bloodline Keeper is missing. The Olivia legendaries are conspicuously missing during this one.
Yeah, why the fuck are the Olivias not here? Like, we're on Innistrad again. Olivia Voldaren is the primary villain of the set, so the fuck.
And I would think that Olivia Mobilized for War would be a very appropriate card because of her ability to tap into cards that have Madness. I have a lot of Madness cards in this deck, like the Shadowgrange Archfiend, Avacyn's Judgment, and of course the Falconwrath Gorger, who unlocks Madness for every vampire card that's in my hand who can potentially be discarded.
Yeah.
And also, there's another. Sorin Imperious Bloodlord. Yeah, so probably the most powerful of the Sorin planeswalkers. I also added him from my collection because the deck was not nice enough to just give it to me stock.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually do have a 7-drop. I've got Oyobi who split the heavens, which if I can ever get him out, makes it so that my turns after him will be significantly better. But
yeah, I got a couple of high drop cards in here too. The Butcher of Malachor is a 7-drop. Both of the Malachor cards, as I observe, are 7-drops. The Malachor Blood Witch gives me life and loses opponent's life equal to the number of vampires I control. But versus what your deck does, which is to generate creature tokens from off the board, my deck is actually more attuned to creating, to getting out from my hand / graveyard, thanks to cards like the Sinister Waltz, that if you look at the back of the Commander deck box itself, it does say, hey, you can play Sinister Waltz. Choose 3 target cards in your graveyard, return 2 of them at random to the battlefield, put the other on the bottom of your library. Yeah, that card very quickly came out of my at-home enhanced version of the deck because I was not crazy about the part that I finally did not have a choice in which 2 cards made it from the graveyard to the battlefield. But they for vampires, they create a preoccupation with, get used to discarding them, get used to swinging for life, and then getting them killed in suicide missions so that you get lifelink health, put them in the graveyard, load it up, and then make it ready to just, pop them out with cards like Sinister Waltz.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, your deck really likes to do the discard stuff more than mine does, but I still have discard engines in here that don't really work because, I'm supposed to be discarding. I'm supposed to be discarding a bunch of creatures in order to trigger off some of my bigger spells, like where is it? Storm of Souls, and I know Storm of Souls is the big one, but there are a couple of others that are really nice when it comes to the super late game. But
So, do you have any legendaries with partner?
yes, actually, I discarded one with my Occult Epiphany earlier on during Game 3.
I failed to notice that.
Uh, where are you? Yeah, it's Timon Youthful Geist partnered with Rhonda Geist Avenger.
Nice.
And Rhonda herself is actually okay. She's a 4-drop. She's got vigilance, and whenever one of your critters becomes tapped, if it's not being declared as an attacker, she gets a 1/1 counter. And Timon, is able to tap things during the start of each combat. I've got Varity Circle in order to power her up a little bit more like that. I've got interesting ways of using the prison stuff in the deck. I do. But the prison stuff in the deck doesn't... there's not enough of it to really be a prison deck is the thing. It wants to have enough stuff for the prison stuff to work, like Windborne Muse and Ghostly Prison stacked on top of each other. It's fucking amazing. But then where are the rest of the prison stuff? I got Sword to Plowshares for creature removal and Darksteel a mutation, but I'm missing a great deal of the other prison stuff that I would like. Honestly, I would like Path in here. I really would. Over this Arcane Denial, because Arcane Denial, effectively lost me game 2.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I did not notice a great deal of removal in the spirit deck.
Yeah, I have Swords to Plowshares and Darksteel Infestation. That's it. And Swords to Plowshares makes it so that my opponent gains life, which I'm still a battle damage deck, so that doesn't really help my field state all that much unless I'm getting rid of something is my opponent's main win con, which I did manage to do. I managed to banish your commander, but yeah.
Versus my deck, which actually has a conspicuous number of removal options, and these removal options pair nicely with a lot of the static abilities that I have on the board. Where is it? Well, Blood Artist never saw play, but that gains me life, and it loses one of my opponent's life every time a creature dies, and also the Falcon Wrath Noble, which also does a similar action every time a creature dies. So, your deck is definitely geared towards mass population of the board, and also getting your getting your Lord abilities out, so your creatures, so you get the multiplicative power of having lots of creatures out that all gain power and toughness at the same time. And my deck, which is more geared towards individual actors who each have their own static abilities that are triggered depending on the game state.
Anyway, this has been us exploring the Innistrad Crimson Vow Commander decks. Next time it will be my turn to pick out, and I'll be picking out something quite a bit older, at least hopefully.
Yeah, I wanted to check this out because, again, I did buy the Vampire deck. I like it. I like how it played during this, and I love how much more powerful it became after I added the cards for my collection, because I finally have a dump for all the goddamn Vampire cards I've been collecting. I mean, what the fuck is the point in owning cards if you can't use them?
Yeah. Alright, everyone. Be safe.
Bye-bye, everybody.